I thought Democrats would be happy. They won the White House. They won the Senate, effectively. And, of course, they control the House of Representatives. But they're not happy. And they're still smashing on Donald Trump. And maybe you think they deserve to, and that's fine, too. But let's remember and let's listen to a minute or two here of the fact that while they're accusing the president of inciting violence and his supporters of being angry, violent people, Democrats have had their turn too, as some of the president's defense attorneys introduced in a video last week.
We need to show you some of their own words.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
You got to be ready to throw a punch. You have to be ready to throw a punch.
Donald Trump, I think you need to go back and punch him in the face.
That I thought he should have punched him in the face.
I feel like punching him.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. If we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
No, I wish we were in high school. I could take him behind the gym.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
Take him out now. Okay.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
You get the idea there. It goes on and on and on for 9 minutes if you were to listen to these examples of Democrats asking for violence. Saul Anuzis is the former chair of the Michigan Republican Party. You can read him, receive his newsletter, widely read, saulsnews.com. He's on our AT&T line right now. Isn't that astonishing, Saul, to hear some of those examples of media people in particular and members of Congress just flat out saying things that are violent?
Well, it is, and it's really disappointing. The problem is it's obviously an issue on both sides. The president's rhetoric was not helpful. Those Democrats that you just heard are just an example of rhetoric that is not helpful. We've lost the civility with regards to agreeing to disagree in politics. If you remember when I was state chairman, the Democratic state chairman, Mark Brewer, and I used to go on regularly on your show and other shows and go to debates and, fight it out, so to speak, politically. But, we were civil, and we would make a point of having dinner and having people see us together and show that we could, agree to disagree. Debbie Dingell was National Committee woman, and I was National Committee man. We did something similar. So, this is not, unfortunately, this isn't the norm, but the emotions are so high. People are so upset. People are so frustrated on both sides of the aisle that we've got to start talking to each other. We have to calm this down, because otherwise, the kinds of activities that that have been happening across the country, where cities are literally burning, police officers are being attacked, anywhere from the local courthouse to the U.S. Capitol are under siege. These are all unacceptable practices that we as Americans should all deplore on both sides of the aisle. And we've got to start talking to each other and calm the situation down.
Well, you've got for instance, on the weekend, I noticed this influencer named Rob Gill, and his Twitter handle is Vote for Rob Gill, so I'm not exactly sure what his plan is, but it says, PSA, everyone must go after every senator who voted not guilty. Go after every single aspect of their lives. Scream at them at airports, call their homes at 3 a.m., show up at their offices.
Well, and so what's happened is we've created this culture that allows and even encourages this kind of unbelievable activity. I mean, normal civil society has allowed people to agree to disagree. We respect the rule of law. We understand we're not going to agree with one another. It is not unusual in the past to drive into a neighborhood and see a lawn sign for one candidate and one party next door to a candidate from another party. We've lost that, and that's a very dangerous situation. And remember, there are people who want to incite this kind of activity. The Russians are happy with this. The Chinese are happy with this. The anarchists inside our country are happy with this. And the radicals in either party or both parties are happy with this. This is not the mainstream of America. And those of us who believe in this country, who believe in the rule of law, who believe in our system, need to stand up and start talking about it. And I think until we do that, and it's not going to be easy, because we've got some very, very stark differences, some very emotional issues that draw us to different corners, but it doesn't mean that we can't be civil with one another.
This is maybe oversimplifying it, but if you were at a cocktail party and there was a couple there and they disagreed on something, let's say they're husband and wife, they probably would hide the worst of their fighting till it was in private. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't want people outside to see that there was that kind of friction. And when you talk about China and some of our other enemies, putting up their heels and laughing at the way we're eating each other, that gives you a really terrible feeling in the stomach. That it's embarrassing, is what it is.
Well, it's embarrassing, but it's also dangerous. I mean, I think there are countries that are encouraging this type of activity. I think there are groups that are encouraging this type of activity. You've got groups like Antifa in particular that are very clever. They're very good. They've read their Saul Alinsky's book on, rules for radicals. They know how to jump out in front of a parade and stir up the emotions that are currently there across this country. And, look at Black Lives Matter demonstrations. Many of them were there for very righteous reasons. But before the night is over, all of a sudden they're burning buildings, stealing, rioting, looting, and even, physically harming people. I mean, this is not an acceptable norm in our country. And if you continue to have a situation where cities like Minneapolis, Seattle, and Portland allow this to happen, do not arrest these people. Do not put them in jail. Do not prosecute them. It will continue to happen. That's why you've heard virtually every single Republican come out and say the people who violated the law, who broke the windows, who beat police officers with hockey sticks or whatever the situation should be prosecuted, arrested, and thrown in jail. And we need to start setting an example that this is not acceptable behavior in our great country. Look, if we want a revolution today, if we want to be revolutionaries today, we can do it at the ballot box. We do not have to do it at the symbolic, tip of a gun or the end of a stick. We have a way, a system that allows people to go to the polls, vote their conscience, vote for the people who they believe in. They may not be with you 100% of the time, but you're going to find a candidate who is more likely to be for what you believe in than what the other candidates should. And we should hold our public officials accountable. But that's the way you express your frustration. That's the way you change the way our country looks at this. And I think the Democrats have unleashed a civil unrest type of activity that they thought was useful in their quote-unquote resist movement against Donald Trump that is going to cost this country for a long time to come, and it's very unfortunate.
Just a minute left with Saul Anuzis, and you can register saulsnews.com. How do people sign up for your newsletter?
There's a little, when you go online, it'll be a little click, and we send it out every Sunday morning. Just comes once a week, and what I try to do is pull together some political articles from around the country that I think would be valuable for activists to read, and then I normally have some of my commentary as to my thoughts of what's happening that week and moving forward.
40 seconds. If Donald Trump was an anomaly in the Republican Party, why are there people who still want to support him as a Republican and the leader of the GOP?
Well, look, I think that we have to remember that the issue that many people had with Donald Trump was his style, not his substance. On a substance standpoint, the America First agenda was very popular with a lot of people, particularly a lot of culturally conservative working class people who didn't like either political party. And so, what they're looking for is a little bit more of a calm. And I think that people who like Donald Trump will continue to be in this party, and they're going to be a big part of the party. So,
Saul Anuzis, who's a big part of Michigan, former GOP chair. Over the years, our Michigan communities have been through many ups and downs, and this year, without question, is one of the most difficult we've faced together. But it brings comfort to know that when it comes to our health, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan continues to be here for it all. For 81 years, Blue Cross has been committed to helping everyone in Michigan achieve better health and to strengthening our communities. That's why they work with doctors in every county, providing insurance to people in every zip code, while also providing needed funds to care for the uninsured in free clinics across Michigan. And as we all look to the future, Blue Cross will be here, providing members on-demand access to the care they need through Blue Cross online visits, 24-hour nurse line, and the Blue Cross mobile app. For generations, Blue Cross has stood behind their members' care and the communities we call home. Blue Cross is here for it all and always will be. You can learn more at hereforital.com.
How many times a day do we say the words, thank you? Sometimes for little reasons, like,
Thank Thanks, Mrs. K. The trumpet's fun.
Or,
hey, Coach. Thanks for the pointers.
But sometimes we say thanks for reasons that are big, like a billion times big. Last year, the Michigan Lottery contributed well over $1 billion to public education, an investment that supports our schools and our kids' futures. So thanks a billion for playing. The Michigan Lottery. For fun, for schools. Knowing your limits is always the best bet.
Traverse City is more than a place, it's a destination. And for many, it's a dream, but a dream that's reachable and ready every single day, just a car ride away. Traverse City is diverse, though, from beaches to boating to bluffs to wine and food, shopping and snowmobiling, gaming and golf. The possibilities are countless. So become a regular in Traverse City, where you'll feel away and at home, because its people are its charm.
For more information on your winter True Escape getaway, visit traversity.com.